I was at a party this past weekend and I was speaking to a gentleman and he was trying to give me the location of where a family member of his lived. And so he told me the location and I was like, "What? That's where that person lives? That's so amazing." Those are like multi-million dollar homes, like 3,500 square feet and over, a lot of land around the homes. They have huge driveways. Like, the location is amazing. And instantly what came to my mind was that, hey, this person lives in this location, they are doing amazing, because we think that when people live a certain lifestyle that they are doing amazing, that they are living amazing. And so, I was excited. And once I came back down, no, I didn't come down until he said this. They're not multimillionaires, but they're living large, is what he said. He said, yeah, they ain't multimillionaires, but they're living large. And the reason why he said multimillionaires was because I was saying, well, those were multimillionaire homes. Like, that's how much they cost, multi-millions. And so he was like, yeah, well, they're not multimillionaires, but they most certainly live large. And then that brought me down off my high. Like, you get excited. You see the fancy homes, you see the locations, you see the big driveways, and it's usually the cars and all of the gadgets, the electronics, all of the things that's attached to that, right? You see all of that, and you're excited for that person, or you are in awe because you believe that that person has done wonderful things in their life to get them to the place that they are at. And that's where I was at in that moment. It's like, what? That person lives there? That community is amazing. And so once the gentleman said, yeah, they're not multimillionaires, but they're living large, I instantly understood what he meant, right? He meant that, okay, they may be in that environment, but from me, what I got from his statement was that, yeah, they may be in that environment, but they may not necessarily have the funds to sustain that lifestyle, because he said that they're not multimillionaires, but they're living large. And I guess you don't have to be a multimillionaire to have a home that costs multi-millions, but you would think that you would, right? You would think that, hey, your salary is going to match your home or the place that you live. You're going to be able to use your salary to sustain this life over time. But what the gentleman was saying to me was, nah, no. And his face kind of looked like that too, right? You see people and you see their faces, not only about what they say, it's also about the gestures. And he was just like, yeah, and no. Like, yes, it looks good, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. They are not multimillionaires, but they're living large. Like, they are living large, but they're living in a fashion or in a way that is not sustainable for the income that they have coming in. And this is how I took it, because this is the statement that he said, and also with the body language that he gave, right? And so in that moment, it kind of like brought me down off my high, because yes, I get excited if I see people who are doing what I think is amazing, who have reached places that are amazing, or fancy or luxurious. That's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for all of us, even me, the budget coach. Like, I get excited, right? I talk about living frugal all the time, but if I see somebody who has attained that status and who can sustain it with the money that they have it coming in, then that is truly amazing. It is. It's truly amazing. And we cannot say that it's not. It only becomes disheartening when you live like you got multi-millions, but you don't really. And so that's when you think differently about the situation, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so maybe it's not all that it's cracked up to be. And okay, don't get that excited about that. And that's what I felt in that moment. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. Everything that glitters ain't gold. It don't look like what it is, right? And that's kind of the way that he portrayed it to me. The second thing he said to me, he said, you doing all right? He said to me, you're doing all right. Because what he was trying to do in that moment was remind me of who I am and what I've accomplished in the years that I've been here. So he is telling me, like, listen, you're getting all excited about what you think they have, but you doing okay. So you have to just also acknowledge who you are, acknowledge what you've done, acknowledge all that you have, right? And we know that it's not all about what we have, but just acknowledge what you have in the life that you have built for yourself, which is one of stability, because I know that my paycheck can sustain my lifestyle, or I know that my income can sustain my lifestyle, right? So I built a life of stability. I built a life of comfort for which my income can sustain. And I've also built a life where nobody's going to come back and take away the things that I have, because most of what I have is paid in full, right? I still have a home that I talk about constantly that's not paid in full, that I am working towards. But listen, one day it will be. And so I have to remember those things. And that's what he was trying to remind me when he looked at me and he said, you doing all right? Right? You doing all right? And then he even acknowledged that for himself when he said, I'm doing all right. You know what I mean? So he was assuring me that I was doing okay, and himself. He said, I'm doing okay. And so, with all of that being stated, we have to remember who we are and what we've worked for. All right. So overall, what I was able to get from that one interaction with that gentleman, that one conversation, it was actually even just one sentence that he told me. One sentence, right? One sentence. From the one sentence, I learned 3 main things. Number 1, you never know someone else's situation, and it doesn't matter because it's not your business. It's not your business. It's not you. It's not for you. You know what I mean? So worry about you. Worry about your own business. Worry about your own business and not that of others. Okay? So you never know about somebody's true situation. It may not look exactly like what it is, but in all things, understand that they are them and you are you. And you only know about you, right? So mind your business, right? Worry about your own business. Next, be true to who you are. Respect what you've done. Respect what you've accomplished in this world. Acknowledge you. Acknowledge your truth. Understand that, hey, this is where I am. Either I'm comfortable and content with what I have, or I am ready to grab the bull by the horns and move further in this life. Either way, be true to you, right? Respect what you've done, acknowledge what you've done, be happy with where you are. And if you want to move forward, then go ahead, full speed ahead, right? Just do it, right? And the last thing, and I kind of touched on it in the last point, but be comfortable and content with you and what you have. Be comfortable and content with what you have, because only then will you live a calm, right, lifestyle. Only then will you live a calm lifestyle, because you will be content with you. You won't be trying to compete, right? Because you could do that your whole life. You can spend your whole life trying to compete and be uneasy and be uncomfortable and be in a race that you don't even have to be in. So just be comfortable and content with what you have in the moment. And again, if you want to move forward to try for something else, something different, something that you may think is bigger and better, then that is truly up to you. But acknowledge what you have in the moment and be content with just that. Okay? So that was a conversation that I thoroughly enjoyed and learned from, truly learned from. All right. What I need you to do is please subscribe, click the like button, and share with anybody who may need to hear this message.